Could everyone hear my voice and see the screen? No answers. Hello? Okay.
Hello,
Yeah. Yeah. You can hear, right, Rosen?
I can hear
Okay. So let's,
clear.
thank you. So let's talk about three basic data, or we can say three basic values uh, that you have to understand these three things. If you understand this very clearly, then the whole process of earned value analysis, the whole journey in earned value analysis is going to be very very easy. Okay, so but if you don't understand these three concepts, then it's going to be difficult. Okay, so let me first introduce them. Okay, number one, PV. Okay, PV. Number two, EV. Number three, AC. Okay, planned value, earned value, and actual cost. Okay, planned value, earned value, and actual cost. PV, EV, and AC. Actually these are somehow a modern terminology, but we have some old terminologies for this planned value, earned value, and actual cost. So I'll tell those things later. Before, if I introduce that, you may get confused. Okay, so let's keep these three things aside. Okay, to understand these three things, I'm going to give you a small problem. So through this, let's understand. Okay, so let's say we have a project. Okay, and this project is a 3-day project. So day 1, day 2, day 3. Okay, so for the project activity, you have estimated that you require 3 days to complete the project. Okay, so 3 days is a project. So on the third day, how much you would have completed? 100 percentage of the work you would have completed, right? So that was your plan. That's your plan. Okay, now you have also estimated cost for this 3 days project. For the first day, your estimation is $500 of work. $500 you require to accomplish the first day's work, and another $500, another $500. Okay, just for the ease of calculation. Okay, so we have what is the budget at complete? So BAC is 1,500. 1,500 is your BAC, right? So so if someone asks you what is the planned value, what is your answer? If I ask you what is the planned value, what is your answer? No answer? You would not answer? Very correct, Hassan. Depends on which day. Yeah, that is what you have to ask. So if I ask what is the planned value as on uh, day 2, what is your answer? 1,000. Okay, as on. I'm not planned value as on. I did not ask planned value on the second day. Okay, what is the planned value of the second day or on the second day? Then your answer should be 500. Okay, so when I ask you what is your planned value as on, I may also alter this question a little bit. If I ask you what is the cumulative planned value on the second day, then answer you, what is your answer? If I ask my question as what is the cumulative planned value uh, on the second day, then what's your answer? It is again 1,000, right? It is again 1,000, right? So if I ask what is the planned value as on second day, or the cumulative planned value, then your answer would be a $1,000 or whatsoever. Okay, so when I ask you what is the planned value at the end of the project, okay, what is the planned value, cumulative planned value at the end of your project, then that will be equal to your budgeted complete, which is your 1500. Correct? Fine. So this is planned value. I hope all of you understand. Okay, so now I'm going to give you an actual cost. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scenario that at the end of third day, okay, at the end of third day, at the end of third day, your actual cost is, your actual cost means what, the money spent. Okay, actual cost is $1,350. $1,350. Okay, now I want an answer for the following questions. Question number 1, are you on a cost overrun or underrun? Are you on a cost overrun or underrun? What do you mean by overrun? If you have gone above the budget, that's overrun. If you have gone below the budget, it's called as underrun. Correct? So are you on the cost overrun or underrun? Abhijit answers underrun. Okay. Syed answers underrun. Hassan is not answering yet. Maybe he's thinking. Rosan, what is your answer? Sajiv, Rosan, Mustafa. Mustafa also thinks it's underrun. Okay. Let me repeat my question. Okay. At the end of third day, okay, at the end of third day, you go and look how much money you have spent. You have spent $1,350. Okay, so this is what you see. You look at your budget. Your budget says third day end. Your budget is 1,500. You look at your money spent on the third day, and it shows 1,350. So you come up with an answer of what? Hassan, what is your answer? As of now, everyone, there is no alternate answer. Nobody thinks it's an overrun. Charles, Afish, Sarah. Okay. The answer is cannot be determined. Okay. Just with this information, you cannot determine whether you have gone above or gone below the budget. Okay. So you cannot say, because I did not tell you how much work I have completed on the third day. Maybe you people have already assumed that we have completed the work. Nowhere I have told you the work progress. I never told, 100% of the work is done. I just said that at the end of third day, you go back and see what is your actual cost, and it is 1,350. So with this we cannot, but this is how it was. I'm talking about many years before. This is what they saw, right? They look at the budget, they look at the cost on that particular day, and they come up with a result which is wrong, because you should know how much work is over. You understand? So let me give you another. So at this point of time, you cannot determine. Okay. So you require one more information, which is how much is the work. Okay. So how much was the work accomplished? Okay. Let me give you that information now. At the end of third day, you have completed. Okay. You have accomplished 2/3 of work. 2/3 of work is over. You should have completed 3/3 of the work, But you have completed how much? 2/3 of the work. So now you can say, all right, now you tell me with this data, look at the data. Okay, budgeted complete is 1500. On the third day, you are measuring the progress, and you see 1350 is spent, and you go back and see how much work is done. You see 2/3 of the work is done. Okay, now uh, tell me how much is the overrun, and how did you find the overrun? How much? It's definitely it's overrun. Okay, how much is the overrun, and how did you find out overrun? So Abhijit says 350 is the overrun. That's right. How did you find 350?
At second day, 1000 was my budget. I am planned up to spend up to 1350. So the difference between 1000 and 1350 is 350.
Why did you take 1000 as your base?
Because as per this is my budget.
Budget for what? You're
up,
right. But I'm
up to second day.
Yeah. So for the 2/3 of the work, what is your budget? Can we say that? So 1000 is for the 2/3 of the work. So 1/3 of the work is 500. You can convert this into work progress, and also you can convert this into schedule, right? For 1 day of work 500, for 2 days of work 500, for 3 days of work another 500. So for 1/3 of the work it is 500, for 2/3 of the work it is 1000, and for 3/3 of the work it is 1500. Correct? So work accomplished is 2/3 of work, right? So what did you find now? You found out, you are finding out what is the budget for, you don't take the overall budget. Earlier, what did you do? You took the overall budget and you subtracted it with 1350, and you naturally think that, definitely I will get a positive figure, which means I have saved on my budget, correct? But what budget you have to take as a base value? The base value that you should take is budget for the completed work. Yes or no? You should not take the overall budget. You should, very important concept. This may look very petty to you, but you will get confused when it comes to your this one. Okay, so keep this in mind. Okay, keep this like stamped onto your brain. So 2/3 of the work. For the 2/3 of the work, what is the budget? Okay, so what is the budget for accomplished work? This should be your first question. Okay, so what is the budget for accomplished work? 2/3. You can here you are able to see it, right? So because it's equal, like so you can easily see 1000 as, by looking at it only you can see 1000 is the budget for 2/3 of the work. Otherwise, what you can do one thing, like 2/3 into 1500, right? So 2/3 into overall budget, you will get the budget for accomplished work. So what is 2/3 into 1500? So 5 3s are 15. So 2 5s are 10. So 1000, right? So this is also another way of finding out 2/3 into the overall budget, right? So this is your budget for accomplished work. You understand? So this budget for accomplished work, okay, this budget for accomplished work, okay, so this value is called as earned value. This value is called as what? Earned value. You get this? So what is planned value? Planned value is scheduled, for the scheduled work, whatever is your budget, it's called as planned value. On the third day, what is your scheduled work? The whole 100%. For that 100% of work, what is your budget? 1500. You get that? But that is not you require as a base value. What you require? You require what is the budget for the accomplished work, not for the scheduled work. You get this point? It is the budget for the accomplished work. So what is your budget for your accomplished work you accomplished on the third day, although 3 days have passed. But how much work you have accomplished? You have accomplished 2 by 3 of work. So for this 2 by 3 of work, what is your budget? Your budget is 1000. So this is the budget for the accomplished work. All right. So whereas this is budget for the scheduled work. All right. So you take this value, the earned value. Now I asked for whether you are on an overrun or an underrun, and how much. If it is overrun, how much overrun? If it is underrun, how much underrun? Okay. So in short, I'm asking you what is your cost variance. My question was cost variance. Okay. So cost variance is equal to earned value minus actual cost. Okay, cost variance is equal to earned value minus actual cost. So what is your earned value? 1000 minus what is your actual cost? 1350. You get it as minus 350. So if you see the value minus, what does it mean? Overrun. Negative is negative for you. Okay, so and again, don't get confused between this terminology overrun and underrun. Okay, underrun may look like a negative word, but underrun means what? You are under the budget, which means good. Correct. So overrun means over the budget. This also people have beautifully calculate. Okay, they will get all right answers, but when it comes to answer, somewhere their mind says that under means not good. Okay, over means good. Okay, so somewhere they will go and take the wrong answer. These cases have happened. Okay, so be careful on the terminology also. So minus 350 means cost overrun. Okay, overrun. You call it overrun, or you can call it over budget, above budget. Okay, so how much over budget? 350 over budget. So negative means overrun. If you get a positive value, it is underrun or under budget. Do you get this point? Now let me ask you another question. Are we on the schedule or behind the schedule or ahead of the schedule? In this problem, how is your schedule performance? On schedule, Abhijit. How come?
For the second day, 2/3 work was happened. That's what you are asking, no?
No. Our question was like this, no? At the end of third day, you have completed 2 by 3 of work. Rosen, your mic is on. Your mic is on. Look at our question. Our question was, at the end of the third day, your actual cost is 1350. And at the end of third day, your work accomplished was 2 by 3 of work. At the end of third day, how much work you should have completed? How much?
Entire was 3.
3.
3 by 3. In other words, 100% of the work you should complete.
3 by 3.
Yeah, which is 100%.
It's not on schedule.
Yeah, it is not on schedule because you have completed only how much? You have completed only 2 by 3 of work. So 2 by 3
only 2/3.
Yeah. So which is equal to 66%, right? 2 by 3 is equal to 0.66666, right? So it will be 66.6% only you have complete. So which means you are behind the schedule. You understand? So what is the schedule variance? Behind the schedule. So how many days you require? I mean, how many days you are behind the schedule?
1 day.
1 day, right? Because you have completed only 2 days of work, 2 by 3 of work, which means 2 days of work only you have completed on the third day, which means 1 day work you are behind. So 1 day is equal to, what is the worth of 1 day in your project?
500.
500. So in earned value analysis, the schedule variance is also determined using a monetary value, right? So the schedule variance is also presented in what? In a dollar value, all right? So how do we find out schedule variance? Schedule variance is equal to earned value minus planned value. Okay, earned value minus planned value. So on the third day, on the third day, how much, on the third day you have completed only 2 by 3 of work, right? So for the 2 by 3 of work, what is the earned value? 1000 minus what is your planned value on the third day? What is the planned value on the third day? 1500. Correct. This is the cumulative planned value on the third day, right? So you should take the cumulative planned value on the third day, right? So which is 1500. So which is minus 500. Okay. So minus negative means negative to you. Okay. So negative means behind schedule. If you get a positive value, ahead of schedule, right? So when your planned value is greater than your earned value, right? Your scheduled work is more, but your performed work is less. This is your performed work, right? This is your scheduled work, right? Your performed work is less, but your scheduled work is more. Then what does happen? You will get a negative value, right? So behind schedule if it is negative, and ahead of schedule if it is positive. So how much of behind schedule? 500 worth days behind schedule. You understand? So in both of this you see, in cost variance or in schedule variance, you see uh, earned value. This is the basic measure on which you are comparing, right? EV is the basic measure on which you are comparing, right? And that's why the analysis itself is called as what? Earned value analysis. You get it? So let's do another one. Let me give you another problem with the same thing. Okay, so try to do it. So you have 3 days of work. Mhm. On the second day you are measuring your progress. At the end of second day you are measuring your progress. Okay, on the day you measure the progress, okay, that day is called as status date. Okay, so what is status date? Status date means the day on which you measure the progress. Here second day, so second day is called as what? Status date. There is another name for this, data date. In Primavera they call it data date, and in MS project they call it status date. Okay, so the status date is second day. Okay, so you see 50% of work is over. 50% of work is over, and the money you have spent was $800. So $800 is money spent. Can you tell me what is the cost? First tell me the planned value, earned value, and actual cost, and then you tell me what is the schedule variance and cost variance. Doing, all of you? Found? Can you all put your answers on the chat box? First, tell me what is the planned value, earned value, and actual cost. So second day, you're measuring progress, which is the status date. Work accomplished was 50%, and the money spent was 800. Okay, so only Hassan is giving answers. So what is the planned value? So how do you identify the planned value? You have to look at the status date. Okay, so what do you mean by planned value? The budgeted value for the scheduled work as on which date? As on the status date, because on that date, yeah, on that date only you're measuring the progress, correct? So you have to look at what is the planned value on the status date. How much is this?
1,000.
This is 1,000. Okay, and then the work accomplished is 50%. So what is the EV?
50%.
Yeah, 50% of work is over. So what is EV? Earned value. Earned value is 50% of the total work. The total work's overall value is 1,500. So what is the percentage complete?
750.
Yeah, so it is 750. So 50% into 1,500 will be equal to 750. Okay. So what is the actual cost? Actual cost is 800. Correct. So now you have got all the values, all required values. So what is schedule variance? Schedule variance is equal to EV minus PV, which is equal to 750 minus 1000. Right? So you obviously you know that your schedule, you have a schedule variance, correct? Because on the second day you should have completed 66%, but you have completed only 50%. So definitely there is a schedule negative variance. So it is minus 250, correct? So 250 worth, what is the worth of 250 days in your this one, in your project? Half day. So you're half day behind the schedule. You understand? So what is your cost variance? Cost variance is equal to EV minus AC, which is equal to 750 minus 800. Correct? So which is equal to, correct, no? EV minus 750 minus 800. That's right. So which is equal to minus
correct.
50. Why, Hassan, you have got plus 200? Why? I think you have done with the planned value. So always earned value, no? Because earned value means what? This is your accomplished work. This is the worth of your accomplished work. And this is the money spent for that accomplished work. 800 is not for your full work. 800 is for only for the accomplished work, right? So that is minus 50. So for your accomplished work, for your 50% of work, you should have spent only 750. Okay, 50% of the money only you should have spent, no? So 750 you should have spent, but you have spent how much? 800. You get that? So that's minus 50. Okay. So you are on a schedule overrun. You are on a cost overrun. Sorry, you're on a cost overrun and a schedule lag. in other words, behind schedule. You get it? So which is relatively doing better? Cost is relatively okay. Schedule is very poor, but cost is relatively okay. Okay, you get this? Okay, now I'll give you further problems, but let me finish another two metrics and then give you a problem. Okay, so the next metric is schedule. Okay, before I go to this next metric, I'll give you another problem. Okay, another problem. Okay, you have two projects. Okay, project A and project B. Okay, so project A have a cost variance of minus 1000. Schedule variance of project A is minus 500. Okay. Similarly, for project B, the cost variance is minus 3000 and schedule variance is minus 2000. Okay, so you are seeing two projects, and you see this result in both the projects. Okay, in project A, this is the performance, and project B, the following is the performance. Now, which project is doing better relatively? Of course, they both have minus. Okay, that's a different story. But relatively, which project is doing okay? Project A, say Hassan. Hassan says A. Rosen says A. No other answers. So everyone agree with Hassan and Rosen. Charles, what do you say? What do you think? Charles also thinks A. All right. Again, with this, you cannot determine which project is doing better. So data inadequate. Okay. Why? Let me tell you. Okay. I have told you cost variance of minus 1000 here. I have told you for project B cost variance is minus 3000. But this 1000 of cost variance, this 1000 minus 1000 is on what amount? You do not know that, right? The schedule variance on what is the overall project uh, duration, and from that duration, the 500 is mere number. Okay, it does not tell you the percentage. When you want to compare the compare two projects, okay, you want the proportion, only with the proportion, only with the uh, on what you should ask a question, on what, right? Only then you can compare. For example, let me give you the background values. For example, let's say the earned value was 3000 and the actual cost was 4000, and here the planned value was 3500. So with this you would have got this value, right? So 3000 minus 4000 minus 1000, 3000 minus 3500 minus 500. So you would have got this. So for example, this value you got it. The background earned value was, let's say, 50,000. Actual cost was 53,000 and planned value was 52,000. Okay, so if at all the figures are like this, okay, you would have got this one, right? 50,000 minus 53,000 is 3,000. 50,000 minus 52,000 is minus 2,000, right? So you got this number. Maybe this is the background data which I didn't tell you, right? So this is 1,000 variance on how much? Look at the value. The value is 3,000, 4,000 and 3,500. You get this? So 3,500 is the planned value on which you have earned 3,000, right? And that's why you have got minus 500. But here this 3,000, 2,000 came up with this value, so which is a bigger number. All right. So this is on this. I mean, this variance is on this background. This value is on this background. You understand? So you require proportion. You require proportion. So that's why we require indices. We require what? Indices to understand the proportion, to understand on what. Okay, so we need to calculate indices. So there are two indices, SPI and CPI. Okay, schedule performance index. Schedule performance index. Okay, so schedule performance index is calculated. What is the formula for schedule variance? What is the formula for schedule variance? What is the formula for schedule variance? EV minus PV, correct? So what is the formula for schedule performance index? It is EV over PV. Okay, EV over PV. In other words, EV by PV, right? So cost performance index is equal to CPI, cost performance index. So what is the formula for cost variance? What is the formula for cost variance? What is the formula for cost variance? EV minus AC, right? So
EV by AC.
So this cost performance index, it will be EV by AC. Okay. So if you get the value is equal to 1, what does it mean? If the schedule performance index, if at all you get it 1, okay, if you get it equal to 1, exactly equal to 1, what does it mean?
Project is on schedule.
Yes. So when would you get 1? When your EV and your PV are equal, right? Only when these two are equal. So what is this EV called as? Work accomplished. What is PV called as? Work planned. When your accomplished work is equal to your planned work, what does it mean? You are on schedule, right? So when it is equal to 1, what does it mean? You are on schedule. Okay. If it is less than 1, what does it mean? If it is less than 1, what does it mean?
Behind schedule.
Behind schedule, right? So when would you get behind? When would you get less than 1? When which is greater? You will have less than 1. When your PV is higher than EV, then only you get less than 1, right? So what does it mean? Your accomplished work is less, where your planned work is more. In the sense, the work scheduled is more. You have so much work to do, but you have only completed less than the work planned. Okay, your accomplished work is less. So then you will get less than 1. So which means you're behind the schedule. So the opposite case, which is greater than 1, you know, this is good. I mean, ahead of schedule. You get that. Okay. So similarly, the same thing if you apply, when it will be equal to 1, when the value of the work that you have accomplished is equal to the money spent for that work. Whenever you say the actual cost, what does it mean? Actual cost for the work performed. Okay. So when the money of the work, the value of the work performed, and the money actually spent for the work performed are equal, then you get equal to 1, which is like, how do you say, on budget. Okay, when it is less than 1, not good, which means overrun, over the budget, correct? And when it is greater than 1, what does it mean? Under the budget, good. Okay, under budget or underrun, you can call, okay, whatever, right? Now what do? You find out SPI and CPI for project A and SPI and CPI for project B, and tell me the answer. Calculate for project A and project B, schedule performance index and cost performance index, and let me know. Everyone are getting it, right? What is the CPI and SPI of this project A? CPI is equal to EV by AC, right? SPI is equal to EV by PV. So SPI is 0.85, and what is CPI? 0.75. So how much is here? What is the CPI for this project and SPI for this project? CPI is 0.96, Abhijit, respectively, right?
Yes, 0.96.
Yeah. No, CPI is 0.94, correct?
CPI is 0.94. Yeah.
SPI is 0.96. Okay, so which is closer to 1? Which of these values are closer to 1 for project A or for project B? So of course you can see
B.
project B, you can see everything is closer to 1, right? So which means it is better. Okay, so what does this mean? What does the CPI SPI mean, right? For $1, the return is how much? 0.75 cents. But here for $1, what is the return? 0.9. Actually for $1, if you put $1, you have to get $1 worth work. Okay, but anyway, both are in minus. But which is at least closer to this $1? Okay, if you put $1 of work, then you are getting at least 0.94 as a return. But here you are only getting 0.75 and 0.85 respectively for cost and schedule, right? So looking at the index only, you can say like which is doing better, right? But looking at this value, you cannot say. You get that? When it comes to comparison, are we okay till this? May I move ahead? Any doubts as of now? You have to practice a lot. I mean, it's not yet over. There are so many things else to discuss. Okay, there are so many scenarios and calculations to do. But this is basic. Okay, if you're very, like, if you understand clearly what is earned value, what is planned value, what is the difference between earned value and planned, because this is where the confusion happens. The difference between earned value and planned value, because the earned value is also budgeted only, planned value is also budgeted only, right? But earned value is budgeted value for the performed work, for the work accomplished. But whereas planned value is the budget for scheduled work, for the scheduled work. You understand? So that difference you should register in your mind. Okay. So if you understand this basic data, sorry, basic things logically, not just formula, right? Logic behind that. Why is this? And why it cannot be determined when you just give the budget and the actual cost. Why you cannot determine when we just see the numbers rather than the background data. Okay, why we cannot determine? So that logics, if you understand, then it is very easy to move forward. Okay, fine. So let me I mean, again rephrase. Okay, again rephrase whatever we have seen. Okay, so let me scroll it up. Okay, so I told you that there are some traditional classical terminologies for planned value, earned value, and actual cost. Okay, so what are those classical terminologies? You need not even remember the definition. Okay, if you know this abbreviation, you can easily because that abbreviation itself will tell you the definition. Okay, now tell me. Okay, we have the first problem. Let's take this first problem. Okay, so in the first problem, what is the status date in this problem? In this one, what is the status date? I want every one of you to concentrate. Okay, status third day, right? At the end of the third day, so that is the status date. Fine. So what is the planned value for the first problem? 1,500, because 1,000, you would take the cumulative planned value as on the status date. So it is 1,500. Now tell me, this 1,500 is budgeted cost for the work scheduled or budgeted cost for the work performed? Is it BCWS or BCWP? Budgeted cost for the work scheduled or budgeted cost for the work performed? What is it? What is this 1,500? So you're right, Hasan and Mustafa. It is for
Schedule.
Yeah, correct. It is the budgeted cost for the work schedule. So which is the budgeted cost for the work performed? Which is the budgeted cost for the work performed?
1,000.
1,000, which is your earned value. You understand? Now what is this 1350 then? What is this? This actual cost, what is this? This is for the scheduled work or this is for the performed work? Of course, the moment you say actual cost, what does it mean? It is performed work. There is nothing called as actual cost for the scheduled work, right? It's always actual cost for the performed work. Do you understand? So that is how they call it. Okay, planned value is otherwise called as BCWS. Okay, BCWS, which means budgeted cost for the work scheduled. Okay, whereas earned value is otherwise called as BCWP. BCWP, budgeted cost for the work performed. Okay, whereas actual cost is otherwise called as ACWP. ACWP. Okay, actual cost for the work performed. You understand?
Work performed.
That's right. So when I ask you the cost variance, initially what did you do? You compared this two, right? Right? So you compared the cost of the scheduled work and the cost of the performed work, which is wrong, because you have to compare the cost of the budget for the performed work and the actual cost for the performed work. Only these two you have to compare, right? You should not compare this two. You understand? Correct? So that was wrong. You understand? So 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 the work should be intact, only the cost difference should be seen. That's cost variance, right? So they both talk about performed work and you're only looking at the difference in the cost. All right, so that's your cost variance. Whereas when it comes to schedule variance, what would you see? You will look at the difference in the work. Okay, in the difference in the work, how much work is scheduled and how much work is performed. Okay, so here you will keep the cost intact and look at the difference in the work. You understand? For the schedule, I'll repeat the point again. To understand the variance in the schedule. Okay, so in the schedule variance, what are you trying to understand? You're trying to understand how much work I should have done, but how much work I have done. That's what you call as schedule variance. Correct? So you should keep the cost intact. Okay, so here also budgeted, keep the cost intact and see the difference in the work. So this is the difference between work scheduled and work performed. So you compare this two for schedule variance. Correct? Similarly, you should when you are looking at the cost variance, you should keep the work intact, right? So here also work performed, here also work performed. So the work is common, right? Whereas you see the difference in the cost, budgeted, actual, right? So this two will give you the difference between what the cost variance. Okay, so if you look at the earned value, this is a center measure. Which helps you to calculate both schedule variance and cost variance. All right, and that is why the earned value, this is something which is modern. When I say modern, it's 10 years old or 20 years old, not even 20 years. Okay, only few years old. Okay, this has become popular. Okay, so that is what you call as basic earned value analysis. Okay, now let me put everything. Are we okay till this? Are we okay? May I move ahead? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, Hassan and Mustafa says yes, so I'm moving ahead. Okay, let me put it in graph and answer my questions. Okay. Okay. Let me put everything in graph. Your cost baseline graph. Okay. So let's say this is your planned value, right? So this is your budgeted complete. Okay. So these are all planned values. Okay. Now, this is your status date. Because this is time, right? X-axis is time. Y-axis is cumulative cost. Correct? So on a particular day, you're going to measure. Okay? So on that day, you see your earned value is like this, and your actual cost is like this. Okay? So the green line is earned value, and the blue line is your budgeted cost line. Okay? And the red line is the actual cost. Now tell me, how is your cost variance and how is your schedule variance? Are you have you cost overrun or underrun, behind schedule or ahead of schedule? Mustafa, can you please review your answer? Think over it again. I don't say that you're right or wrong, okay? I'm just asking you to think over it again. Others, please. Hassan, don't worry about. Yeah, yeah. I mean, just give me in words. Earned value is greater than actual cost, says Syed. That's right. So what does that mean? If the earned value is greater than actual cost, what does it mean? You're overrun or underrun?
Underrun.
That's right. Okay. So for that was the only thing. Like maybe you would have thought it underrun, but you have answered it as overrun because you may think that overrun is like positive. Was that right? I mean, was that is that how you thought? Correct. I told you, right? The same mistake will be done. It's a repeated mistake. Okay. Classical mistake, you can call. Okay. So it is underrun. So you would be right when you're understanding, but when you, in the terminologies, you may miss. Not only with this, but for any question. Okay. So, so EV is on the top, right? So EV, how about schedule variance? Nobody is talking about schedule variance. So cost we are doing okay, we are doing good, okay, because our we have earned more than we spent, correct? The work accomplished, it is more than the money that should have been spent for it. So we have got an underrun. We are under budget. Good. How about the schedule variance? Why nobody is talking about schedule variance? Are you guys searching for your PV curve?
Overrun.
Schedule variance. How do you term it? There is nothing called as overrun in schedule variance. How do you call it? Behind schedule or ahead of schedule?
Ahead of schedule.
Right? You're ahead of schedule, right?
Ahead of.
That's right. So which is your PV curve? The blue line is your PV curve because cumulative PV is only BAC, right? So this is the blue curve is your PV curve actually, correct? So EV is much greater than your PV curve, right? So of course you will get what? You will get ahead of schedule, which means very good, right? Doing good, correct? Fine. I'll give you another curve, another thing. Yeah. Tell me your cost, your variance and schedule variance. Over budget. Over budget, behind schedule. That's right, right? Because the moment you see EV down, okay, EV, which means EV is less than the AC and PV, right? So the moment you see this, you can say very well that the cost variance is bad. I mean, over budget, and the schedule variance is, it's behind. Yeah, behind schedule. You get that? Good. Last one. Now,
On time.
mm-hmm. On schedule, under budget. Correct? That's right. Okay, fine, great. So now what are we going to do? We have understood the present performance. Okay, present cost performance, schedule performance, and the present performance in terms of indices. Okay, so this we have seen already, right? Now we are going to forecast the future based on the present trend. Okay, we are going to forecast the future, right? So let's look at certain things. Okay, so let me stop the record and let me start a new record. Okay, so that it will be easy for me to upload.